Hello, it is Tuesday. Welcome to another weekly reading vlog. It is beautiful weather outside. It was so sunny yesterday. I was back at home yesterday. I was working from home. I worked outside and then I had my lunch break on the swinging bench and it was bliss. Went for a beautiful walk around a very, very big field with my mum and Pippin. It was Pippin's birthday yesterday, which is very exciting. Pippin is 4. Pippin is my cavapoo and he is a bean. And it was just great. It was really nice. Despite the fact that I was working, it was still like a really nice day. I feel like work shouldn't be able to stand in the way of that, but you know, sometimes when work's all you do during the day, it kind of overtakes it. So I'm glad that I was able to claim the day back for myself as well and spend some time in the sunshine. So that was really good. Hopefully you guys are excited for another weekly reading vlog, because here I am with some books to haul. So if you watched last week's weekly reading vlog, you will see that the bookshops reopened in England and I went extravagant. I got a lot. And I have no regrets, apart from one of them. I got The Strawberry Thief by Joanne Harris, which I have now been told by a couple of people is actually the 4th book in a series. I said in the vlog that it reminded me of the story of Chocolat, which is a film that is adapted from a book. Yeah, it's the 4th book in that series. So now I'm like, okay, do I just return it? Because I think I still have the receipt, or do I keep it and buy the other 3? I just liked the look of that book because I have looked at Chocolat before and I haven't really been that bothered. So now I'm like, oh, bum. But I could return it and just get something else that's not the 4th book in a series. But it looked so good, so this is very sad. But through another visit to the bookshop, also a pre-order and some books that were sent through to me by a publisher, I've got some books to show you, and only a couple of them came in the mail. See, the bookmail song is becoming redundant now because I can go into bookshops again. So in kind of order of appearance, I suppose. So the first book that I picked up, and this was a pre-order that I ordered when I got all my books last week, but they didn't have this one in stock, is A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum. This cover is stunning. The colours, the sunset kind of colours, are just beautiful. This one looks really good. This was one that was recommended to me, so I really, really hope I like it. But this is a mother and daughter story. It features the story of the mother in the 1990s and then the story of the daughter in 2008. So the 1990 story is set in Palestine, where the 17-year-old mother at the time, she's obviously not a mother at this point, is being forced into a marriage, I believe, and has a child out of that marriage, and she basically moves over to Brooklyn. And then in 2008 in Brooklyn we see the child who wants to go to college, but her grandma is very much insistent on her being involved in a marriage. So 17-year-old mum and then the 18-year-old daughter is who we're following. This sounds really good and I am really excited to read it. I've heard some really great things, and also it looks like a sunset. All of the boxes ticked. Then I bought a couple of books in WATERSTONES because I went at the weekend again. These were, well, some of these were on my wish list, some of them I just saw and was like, okay, yeah, cool. So this one was on my wish list. This is Kate Atkinson's Behind the Scenes at the Museum. Wanted to call it Night at the Museum then. That's a different thing. This is Kate Atkinson's first book and my mum says it is absolutely fantastic. Apparently it's just really interesting and it follows a character from birth, which is insane. That sounds like so different. I mean, actually, I say this, wherever it is, I hauled recently Ian McEwan's Nutshell here, which follows a crime from the perspective of a fetus. So these two kind of have that strangeness in common. But other than that, I think this is basically someone telling a story of a family in a different time period. This is a family from the end, oh my god, words. The character who is born, Ruby, the bottom of the blurb says that she tells the story of the family from the day at the end of the 19th century when a travelling French photographer catches frail, beautiful Alice and her children like flowers in amber to the startling, witty and memorable events of Ruby's own life. So I don't really know what this is about, to be honest, but apparently it's really good and I am really excited. And also I love the fact that, so this is the 25th anniversary edition. In there is what the original cover looked like. Quite different, but I think I prefer this one. So that was my second book. Then I went down the feminist fiction route, or feminist non-fiction route actually. Well, a bit of both, and some poetry. And I got these 3. So first up we have got Maya Angelou's And Still I Rise. Maya Angelou is known for the series of autobiographies and many other things, but like book-wise, she's written a series of autobiographies that start with I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. and this is her poetry collection that follows, it did actually have a poem in here called Caged Bird, so I think, I don't know which one she wrote first actually, but this was brilliant. I really enjoyed the poems in this. I read it. I read it on Monday, so I suppose this is a reading update too, but I read this yesterday. I started it on Sunday night because of A Little Life being very heavy. I just wanted to kind of break it up with something, so I thought some emotional poetry would be the best thing to break it up with. I've started a couple of the poems in here, but if you wanted to have a look at any of them, I don't know if they'd be online or not, but Phenomenal Woman is one of the ones that I really enjoyed. I just thought that was fantastic. And I also starred Still I Rise, which is the name of the book, and Impeccable Conception, and also My Life Has Turned to Blue. I thought those ones were all, well, they're all brilliant, but those ones particularly I found really good. So this is a poetry collection from AUDIBLE, and this is one of the books that I hauled, and also a book I read yesterday, so I think that's like my third book of the month, so I'm doing what I wanted to do and slowing down, so that's good. Then I also got A Vindication of the Rights of Woman by Mary Wollstonecraft, who is Mary Shelley's mum, who is the author of Frankenstein, although I think she died when Mary Shelley was like just born, so I don't know how much of a relationship they were able to have, but that's her mum, and she is known for kind of pioneering feminism before it had a name, really. And this is the first text of feminism before it was really known that feminism was feminism. So I really wanted to read this. It's very tiny, so it's hopefully not going to be too heavy to get through. It's under 100 pages. I think it's going to be dense because it's probably going to be of a heavier topic, but it's very small, so hopefully it shouldn't be too intimidating. But I figured, given that I'm talking a lot about feminism, I should probably read that. And lastly of that haul, I got a non-fiction book that is called Gross Anatomy, My Curious Relationship with the Female Body, and this is by Mara Altman. This book looks fantastic. It looks like it's done in a very funny way, but it's all about body positivity. The contents page alone is amazing. I absolutely love it. Of course it's going to focus on my face instead of the contents page. I just love the way that that is done. I love what each part of the body is called. For example, the vulva is called the 11th toe, which is amazing. But I've already had a flip through this, and there are some really funny ways of talking about things, but I think that this hopefully will do a really good job to break down some taboo barriers and talk about body positivity, which is great. And then lastly, I came home to 2 books waiting for me from Hachette. So if you saw a couple of weeks ago, I unboxed the Feminist book box, which was amazing, and it had 2 books in it. So Hachette wanted to send me through the 2 books from the previous box, because I think that was the one they were meant to send out to bloggers, or to vloggers, content creators, to people that talk about books online. But for some reason they weren't able to, so they said, did I still want to receive the books from it if I wasn't able to receive the whole box? So I was like, yeah, of course I do. So they sent me these 2 books over, and the reason I wanted to receive these is because I'm trying to push out what I read. I want a wider collection so that one day when my moody reading brain is like, I really fancy at the moment, I've got as much covered as I possibly can. So one of the books they sent was A Woman of No Importance. This, I think, is a non-fiction biography, or just an account of this woman, but it's World War II's most dangerous spy, The Untold Story of Virginia Hall. This is by Sonia Purnell, and apparently it's really interesting, is what I've heard when I looked it up when they said about it. It's a bestseller, I believe. Yeah, New York Times bestseller, non-fiction, all about this woman's life. So something very different to what I would normally read, but really good to have on my feminist shelf. And next up is stunning. Like, that's what it is. This just is stunning. This is absolutely beautiful. It's shiny, gold, green, stunning. This is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. This is a classic, and it's reprinted. I think this was released initially around the 1930s. Ooh, there's loads of other beautiful covers on the inside. I don't know if it's focusing, but I can't remember what year. Well, the author was around 1891 to 1960, so this is certainly a reprint, but the blurb is really short, so I'm going to read you that. When at 16, Janie is caught kissing shiftless Johnny Taylor, her grandmother swiftly marries her off to an old man with 60 acres. Janie endures 2 stifling marriages before she finally meets the man of her dreams, who offers not diamonds, but a packet of flowering seeds. That sounds so good, and it's also, again, not too big, so if you're looking for something that isn't quite as daunting, both of these 2 were from the Feminist book box of the month before, I guess. Did I receive the April one? I guess these are from the March one, I think. I'm so lost with what month it is. April is just whizzing by, but both of these are within the Feminist box. This is non-fiction, this is fiction. If you wanted any recommendations, this is just beautiful. You probably can't really see the title too easily on this, so again, that's called Their Eyes Were Watching God, and it looks really fantastic. So I really do have a good collection now. I'd say I'm going to stop, but we all know that I'm going to go back and potentially return that book that is the 4th book in a series and buy more books with the return of that book. Which isn't how it has to work, but it's probably how it will work. So those are the books that I hauled. Great start to the vlog with me hauling some books. Hopefully this is setting the tone for it being a really book related week, because I've got so many books I want to get to. That's the thing when you buy so many books. I've just got so many I want to get to now, but I'm really hoping that I've scattered enough that my mood reading brain can cope with it. So reading update wise, as I said, I did read this yesterday, and because it's a very short poetry book, I did make sure I was taking breaks in between it because I didn't just want to whiz through it and not appreciate the poems. So I read that one partially yesterday, partially Sunday night. I read it whilst I was sat in the sun, which was lovely. I am making better progress with A Little Life. I am now halfway through. There we go. I am now also listening to this on audiobook just to go alongside it, because I was finding it's not a heavy writing style at all, but the story itself is dense in what's in it, and at times you're getting a lot more detail than perhaps is necessarily keeping you as engaged as you want to be. But also one of the main things I was struggling with was the fact that the Kindle tells you how many pages, how many minutes / hours in this case you've got left in a chapter, and I am reading chapters that are 3 hours long, and I normally would read to the end of a chapter and then stop if I was going to bed, and I can't do that with this because they're too long. And actually that's quite difficult, because when you stop in the middle of a chapter, you kind of lose where you are when you go back into it, because there's so much going on and this jumps between characters so quickly. The narrative has changed completely for some of the chapters, which is bizarre but very interesting. I'm really enjoying it, and it's definitely making me see the sadness coming in, because there was a kind of chapter perspective that talked about a relationship between a father and son, and that I found was quite a sad bit to read, the way that it spoke about it. I'm trying to talk about it without spoilers, but at the same time so that if you've read the book you'll know what I'm talking about. But generally I'm liking it. I'm just certainly still finding it a big book, but I knew it was going to take me time to get through. But what I also did last night was pick up Bingo Love, which isn't next to me at the moment, it's in my bedroom. That's a graphic novel, and I started it, I read about 10 pages of it last night. I was quite tired, so I went to bed quite quickly, and I'm going to probably finish that today. It's lovely weather, so I'm going to sit outside in my lunch / after work whenever I'm not going out to do a food shop, and read a bit of that just to break up the heaviness of this, because I don't want to oversaturate my brain with too much of it and then just not be able to reprocess it or enjoy it in the way I want to. So hopefully I can finish this week, but as I said last week, I am removing expectations on myself. I'm just taking away the pressure. So if I finish it, that's great, but I'm not gonna like force myself to read X amount of pages a day. But I think, judging by the fact that I'm maybe, would we say that's over halfway? This is what I have left. It might be like 10 pages over halfway, but judging from the fact that I'm making that kind of progress, I think that I would imagine it would be finished by the end of the week. But at the same time, I don't know. It's a lovely sunny day, and it's going to be a lovely sunny week, which is always very good because it means I get lots of reading done and go on lots of walks so I can listen to the audiobook. So that's my introduction to the vlog. Again, if you did see last week's vlog, thank you so much for all your lovely comments of support. I spoke about kind of balancing my life with my content, and spoke about mental health and just transparency, and I think that's something I'm always going to do on this channel, is be as transparent as possible, and also just try and bring you books that you may have heard of, you may have vaguely heard of, or you may have not heard of at all, and just give you a good mix. So thank you so much for all your lovely comments in last week's vlog. I am continuing that attitude into this week's vlog, and hopefully all vlogs after that. There are going to be weeks I read more books, because sometimes you pick a lighter book and you can read it quicker. There are going to be weeks I read a lot less books, and so yeah, last week I didn't read too much. This week I have no idea. Well, I didn't read too much, but like I didn't read too many books because this is heavy. So let's dive back into this week. Let's see if it's going to make me cry. And probably let's go and buy more books, because yeah, the more I think about it, the more I think I probably am just going to return that Strawberry Thief book, which is sad because it looked really good, but I've been told it won't make any sense if I've not read the first 3, and anyway, I'm gonna stop talking now because this is a really long introduction once more. So welcome to the weekly reading vlog. It's Tuesday, so happy Tuesday, and I hope you enjoy the footage. So it's after work on Tuesday, and I just thought I would read Bingo Love because I needed a light bit of relief because I've been listening to the audiobook of A Little Life, and it is heavy. There is a lot of trigger warnings, for that book. Some of the ones that I am finding like overwhelmingly are the main themes throughout the book at the moment are for child abuse and also self-harm. There is a lot of that in the bit that I'm reading at the moment, and I'm like fine reading about it. It always feels weird to say I'm fine reading about it. As much as someone can be fine reading about that kind of thing that's really horrendous, however, this is heavy to keep reading when you're not breaking anything up with it, so I need to just make sure that I'm balancing it so I'm not just completely getting caught up in it, which is what I was doing with Bingo Love. I just finished it and nearly cried. This is not the light relief I was after. I mean, it was beautiful, like the whole story was lovely and it was light relief, but then it just kind of hit me and it was really good. I really liked it. I think it's going to be probably 4.5 to 5 stars. I haven't put it through Core Pile yet. And it was just really, really beautiful. It's just a love story. At the back it says, I thought it was really cute, there's a thank you at the back that says, to everyone who supported our story of grandmothers in love, thank you. Oh, okay. Anyway, I went into town because I had to pick an order up, and I returned the Strawberry Thief because, as you guys all pointed out to me in my last video, it was indeed book 4 in a series. Well done, Beth. So WATERSTONES were able to let me pick a different book. The guys in WATERSTONES did that, so that was great. So I picked up that is close. The Dinner Guest by B.P. Walter. This apparently is a really good thrillery crime thing. I'm gonna be honest and say that the cover was putting me off. I don't know why, but it just like I'd seen this about the place and I knew that it was popular, but the cover just for some reason was putting me off. I don't know. So I thought that instead, exchanged it, which was good. And now I'm actually going to go shower because I just really want to get cozy and warm. Then I'm going to cook some dinner and I'm going to be watching the Apple event because I am an Apple nerd and I like hearing about all the new stuff on the event. So I'm going to go do all of those things and probably catch up with you later on in the week. It's Thursday and I am excited because that means it's nearly Friday, which means I get to go out with my friend outside in the lovely weather, apparently 17 degrees, and sit and have a cocktail, which is really nice. I am not a big drinker. I've never been drunk. I don't intend to get drunk. I had people at uni being like, I'm gonna get you drunk, and I was like, no you're not. I don't like the element of peer pressuring people and also the alignment of having to get drunk to be fun. I don't agree with any of that. I also don't like a great deal of different types of alcohol, so I like a very small circle that I could probably count on one hand of what I actually like to drink, but I really enjoy having a drink socially and having one of the 5 drinks that I actually like. So I'm all up for a nice social drink, I'm all up for having a drink, I just know exactly when to stop and I don't like to go beyond that. So I'm going to be doing that on Friday. I'm super excited because it's been a while since I've been able to plan this kind of thing and like, I don't know, get a bit dressed up maybe. I mean, I'm just gonna be sat outside in the sun, but I can wear something nice. It's exciting to have plans. And then I think on Saturday, Ava might be coming here because I think my mum is test driving a car, maybe, and that car is where I live. So they're gonna drop Ava with me and I'm gonna look after her, so that'll be fun as well. Generally, it should be really great. I'm looking forward to it. Got a good couple of days coming up. But I wanted to give you a couple of updates. So, A Little Life. I am making progress. Every time I see this book on my table, I'm like, you are so big. I don't actually know how many pages. Oh, my voice went really squeaky then. How many pages is it? 719, 720 pages. It's so chonky. It's so chonky. But I think in the audiobook, I have something like 5 hours left. So if I maybe go for a walk at my lunch or after work, I should be able to get like a little bit more done, but I am definitely enjoying it. As I've said, there's a lot of heavy themes. There was a bit that made me feel a little bit emotional towards the middle part, but there is currently a storyline that is a nicer storyline compared to the hardships that have been going on in this book. And it's kind of tainted with stories from the past, which are definitely giving more depth to the characters and the situation and how they react. It's so interestingly done because, to start with, you have all these characters and you have their storyline in the present, and you see them aging up very quickly within however quickly you can do it within such a long book. I mean, I suppose it doesn't feel like it's a fast-paced book, but we do see them go from being teenagers to being in like their 40s at the moment. And you see that, but then you also get backstories to certain parts of their relationships with each other and certain parts of Jude, who I feel like is probably the main character, his childhood and traumas of his past and things. So we get that littered through it as well, which just grows and grows these characters, so they become much more personable, much more real, and I think that means that it's going to hurt a lot more if anything bad happens to them. So that's a little life update. Definitely liking it, and I think it's going to be like an achievement when I finished it, because I think that might be one of the biggest books on my TBR, and it's also been on my TBR for a very, very long time, so I'm very excited to finish that. Also, quickly before I forget, it is Earth Day today. Earth Day should be every day as far as I'm concerned, but I just wanted to put this in here as a little reminder for you guys. I know that when you're watching this it won't be Earth Day, but whatever you are doing today or every day or every week, you know, however you can fit being caring to our planet into your lives, do. This is a little reminder that, you know, recycle things, walk instead of driving, do what you can do your part to be able to help the planet. Sometimes things are unavoidable, like obviously driving is necessary to certain places and when you live in certain areas, but there's no reason you can't recycle the cardboard box that your book arrived in, for example. These kind of things are very easy and hopefully something we can all be doing. So happy Earth Day. Hopefully you are already doing these things, but we have to respect our planet. It has been here long before us and we need to be kind to it because it's not doing too good, as we can see from the very strange seasons that we have been having for quite a few years now. Anyway, that's the thing. So Earth Day, happy Earth Day, look after the planet every day. And now I have 4 books here. These are not new books, don't worry, but I thought it would be fun to go through these books because these are the ones that I'm going to be putting in a poll later today for my Patreons to pick our book club pick for next month. I'm getting so lost with the months. So we had Norwegian Wood for the March to April book pick, and it was a very interesting read. We're going to be having the discussion soon, and there is a lot to talk about. I think we're all really excited to have that discussion because it was such a book that made quite a lot of us feel quite a lot of things, so it should be a really interesting chat. And then we've got the May to June book club pick, which is going to be one of these 4. So what I do is I pick 4 that I think are going to be good discussion books, pop them in a poll, and let my Patreons decide which one they would like to read, and obviously the one with the most votes is the one we pick. So I'm not sure how long I'm going to keep the vote open for, but if you want to read along or if you want to vote, again, I don't know if the voting will still be open by the time this is live, but there's a link down below to my Patreon, or you can just search Books Nest on Patreon and I'll come up and then you can join in if you'd like to join the Patreon. This is available to the little nests onwards, so any tiers above that, and yeah, we basically read along, chat about it, and I've hopefully picked books that are all discussion-y books. I have actually read one of these ones already, and I'll explain that when I get to it, but the other 3 I've got no idea. I don't know if they're going to be good or not, but I'm going off of the blurb and the reviews and hopefully the fact that I think there's some sort of a discussion in there. So the first one is one I hauled recently, which is Kate Atkinson's Behind the Scenes at the Museum. I keep wanting to say Night at the Museum, did you hear me? Go Behind the Scenes at the Museum. Now the reason I've picked this one is because apparently this one is one that some people studied at school, so providing that none of my patrons have already read this and studied it, this could be a really interesting pick because the fact that it was studied to me shows there's going to be some kind of questions to be able to ask around it. But this follows somebody from birth who somehow gets entangled up in a story that is a lot older than their family or something. It seems, when I described it before, I got very confused. It's the kind of blurb where I don't really know what it's about. It talks about this girl called Ruby Lennox, who we follow from birth. And then it says that she tells the story of the family, which is a family around in the 19th century. It sounds really interesting and a bit different, and I really want to read it, so I really hope that this is one of the popular picks. I mean, I'm going to read it anyway, but I feel like sometimes the books that are more like stagnant on my TBR can be bumped up when I put them in the book club picks. So that one is, well, not that that one's stagnant, it's new, but that is one of the picks. Then we've also got A Woman Is No Man by Etaf Rum. You will have seen me talk about this book in this vlog? This weekly vlog, I think, maybe. So I hauled this one recently. Again, this is a newer one for me, but I thought this one looked really interesting because we can talk about the role of the women as we see two different kinds of roles of women here, because we see a mother and a daughter and the years apart and how their lives are differing within their cultures and how that is influencing them going forward with the plot of this story. So I, again, don't know either of these, like really what the plot's going to entail and whether they're going to be good discussion ones, but I thought this one looked really interesting and I've heard a lot of people say this is really good, so I thought this would be a good one to pop in there. And then I've also got A Woman on the Edge of Time by Marge Piercy. This is credited as like a modern Margaret Atwood and is apparently a really good feminist story. This has been on my TBR for quite a while and it's not one that I've ever really leaned towards, and I don't know why. So this could be a really interesting pick. This is about a woman who is wrongfully put into a mental institute. Menstrual, minstrel, there's so many words. Okay. Plot of the book. She's put into a mental institute wrongfully, I think, and the way that she finds she can escape is by travelling into the future. This sounds really interesting. I'm really intrigued to see how this becomes a feminist tale and what story this is going to spin. So again, another one that I'm quite intrigued about. And finally, the book I've already read. It's The Shadow of the Wind. This is my humongous copy for annotating, so if you will have seen any of my videos from like the past few months, I might have on and off mentioned that I want to reread this. This is my favourite book. It's by Carl Zaffon. I have not read it for many, many years and I want to do a reread. There is a lot you can unpick in this book. There is a lot to discuss and I absolutely love it. It is fantastic. The reason I'm putting this in here, whilst I have read it, I read it years ago when I was still at university and I really want to give it a reread, but I keep not picking it up for that reread. And I know I want to annotate it and I want to pick it apart, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to do that, to throw it into the book club. So these are the selections. I'm going to predict that out of all of these four, I think this one will be the one that is very most popular, because I know that I recommend it a lot, so I think people would be intrigued to see, but also I know a couple of people within the Discord have this book already because I've seen them haul it. Failing that, I don't know out of these three. I feel like if you research into them, this one would be an interesting choice because, as I said, it's a studied option. This one would be an interesting choice because we're learning about different culture, and this one would be an interesting choice because it is a feminist novel and is credited by Margaret Atwood as being like a new classic feminist tale, and why would we not want to unpick that? So I don't know which way it's going to sway, but those are the books. Let's see what is picked. If you do want to join in the book club, if you want to vote or see what was picked depending on what day the vote ends, there are links down below so you can do that. But yeah, let's see what happens. I'm intrigued, very excited because I love picking the new books, and hopefully I've picked a good variety. I've tried to pick none that are the same kind of genre. So yeah, happy Thursday. Hope you guys have a cracking day, week, whatever day you're watching this on. I'm really excited for the sun to seep around to my chair outside because I get to sit and work outside shortly, although I've just noticed that there is a huge spider's web right next to where my head's gonna be. Amazing. Okay, I'm gonna sign off now, but I'll speak to you guys later / at some other point during the week. I realised I gave you a whole introduction earlier and never actually told you what I physically had picked up to read, because I've been reading A Little Life on my Kindle / as an audiobook now, but as a physical book I have picked up Sophia Khan Is Not Obliged by Aisha Malik, and this is described as a Muslim Bridget Jones, so it's meant to be really funny. It says it's got some laugh out loud moments. I've laughed a couple of times, but I've not found it like absolutely hysterical yet. But basically this is about a woman who works in a publishing house. She's basically been thrown in to write a book on Muslim dating because she literally just suggested the idea and her boss wants her to write it. So she's got that pressure when she's never written a book, she doesn't really know how to write, but she has a blog. So they've picked her to write it. So that's the plot. I'm only about 60 pages in. My arm is really shaky. Hang on, let's go down here. Okay, better. I'm only about 60 pages in. I started it on Tuesday night, I think. As I said, it's described as a Muslim Bridget Jones, so I'm kind of definitely seeing the parallels in terms of the fact that it's written in the form of a diary entry almost, and it has that kind of same narrative description of Bridget Jones where it's very stilted and to the point conversations of what is being written in the diary entry, and there's often words missed out and stuff, and it's just, I don't know if that makes sense, but when I think about the narration of Bridget Jones, I can see a kind of similarity in the wording and the way things are being said in this book. So I can see the link for sure, but I am enjoying where it's going, and yeah, I'm intrigued. I think there's going to be a romance because she's writing a book on Muslim dating, so no doubt she's probably going to find a guy to date along the way, given that there's a guy on the cover. So yeah, 60 pages in, I'm going to go and read outside on my lunch break. I got my book, I got my setup, I am ready to go live. I have this hideous coloured Malibu and pink lemonade, which is just very, very vibrant. Anyway, Patreon live sprints are about to start. I do these monthly, multiple times a month now is going to be the new thing, and they are within my whole tree and tweet tiers if you are interested in joining. They're really good fun, we get lots of reading done. I made quite a bit of progress today at my lunch break, so not quite a bit, you know, I'm still at the start, but really enjoying this. Gonna hopefully read a bit more, well, definitely gonna read a bit more. And yeah, if you want to join, there's a link down below. I am going out for drinks. So I thought I'd dress kind of funky. What do we think? This is my new denim jacket that I got from Marks and Spencer's, Peruna, but I really like the loose fit of it. Then we got my flares, my Converses. I'm not too sure about the Converses, but they're comfy. Then we got my hat. I was so excited. I'm socialising, but anyway. It is Friday, so nearly finished at work, ready to go, feeling good, feeling excited. Should be really nice. But reading update wise, I am over halfway into Sophia Khan Is Not Obliged, and I'm really, really loving this. It's entertaining me, it's fun, it's fast paced, it's cute, and I just like it. It's what I needed. So I'm probably gonna finish that over the weekend. Tomorrow I've got my family coming over. I think I said maybe because my mum's test driving a car, so they're gonna come over tomorrow, and Ava's gonna stay with me whilst they test drive said car. So that's the plan for the weekend. Thursday, I don't know what I'll do, film video maybe? Yeah, really excited. Really excited because it's just something a bit different, isn't it? Oh, there's Bethception. Can we make Bethception? Ooh. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go. That was just a very quick Friday update because I thought my outfit was fun and I wanted to share it. I am home. I am safely back. I've got my pajamas on. I had a really nice evening, got some really good food, had some halloumi fries. So good. And socialised. I'm now going to go and take my makeup off. I've got my pajamas on. I'm going to sit over there and chill for the rest of the evening. It's about 10. So yeah, had a really nice time. It was just really nice to go out and socialise and just feel a little bit normal. Obviously it's difficult to feel entirely normal when there's all so much stuff going on still, but it was really nice. I had a really good time. But I just wanted to update you all because I showed you my nice outfit and now I'm showing you I'm in my PJs. So I'm going to take my makeup off and I'll catch up with you tomorrow. I have a little guest with me today. Ava has come to visit. Ava is going to come into town with me now, aren't you?
Yeah.
And we're going to go to the toy shop.
And the bookshop.
And the bookshop. So we're going to see if we can pick up any books, aren't we? Because Ava is very interested in the Tudors at the moment and learning about Henry VIII. So
well,
we're going to...
we're not really learning about it. I'm sort of teaching myself.
She's teaching herself, so we're going to see. Should we see if we can find any books on that?
Okay.
Okay. So anything... What are you reading at the moment? Have you got your book with you?
Yep.
There. The book Ava's reading at the moment I think is by the same author that did Roller Girl, which she recommended in a recent vlog. Is it good, this one?
Yeah, it's, I'm not really sure what time it's set in, but it's about, at the olden days, like they do a play and the girl goes to middle school.
It looks like it might be set within a Renaissance fair, I think, so that's when it's like modern day, but it's set like in an old, they're recreating the Renaissance era within the fair.
Okay.
Yeah, would you recommend it to the viewers at home?
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a graphic novel style. Cool. Should we go to the bookshop?
Okay.
Okay. Hello, we return from our shopping trip. We got lots of things, including a couple of books for Ava. Do you want to show everyone what you got?
Yep. I have got, first, this one, and it's called Pizzazz.
And it's by Sophie Henn. It's a superhero not graphic novel, but illustrated. Can I show them? You got it? Oh, okay. I didn't know if they're gonna be able to see it that quick. So it's kind of part graphic novel, like mixed media maybe.
Focus!
Part graphic novel, part not graphic novel. That's good. What else did you get?
Well, the other book I got was Queenie.
By Jacqueline Wilson. Ava's listened to this one on audiobook quite a few times.
Almost as much as Roller Girl, but I think a bit more.
Oh, okay. And she hasn't actually got the physical book, so now she wants to read the physical book.
Yeah.
Exciting. Anything else you want to show them?
Well, when we went out, we also went to Paper Chase, and I got
some stickers and a little starfish.
Yeah.
Happy?
The starfish is called Fluffy.
Cool. Is that everything?
Yeah. And the stickers are Focus! Really cute.
Cool. Ava's gonna go home now, so she's gonna say goodbye.
Oh no.
But anything to say to everyone before you go?
Read books.
I've had such a lovely day and I feel very happy and very full from it. I love days that leave me feeling like this. And also, look, my mum bought me some flowers. Like, how beautiful are they? I love them. They're gonna blossom beautifully and they live for like 2 weeks, which is amazing. So I'm feeling really good. I thought I'd show you the books that I picked up today because, hang on, I'm gonna pop you up here. So I was watching Ariel Bassett's video this morning about books in the environment, and she was talking about a couple, and there were a couple recommended in the comments as well, that were books that one of them I'd heard of before, and was in WATERSTONES with Ava, as you'll have seen from the earlier footage of Ava hauling some books. So I thought I would pick them up because I want to read more about the environment and I want to pick up more non-fiction about the environment, but for now these are 2 fiction stories. So the first one is Weather by Jenny Offal. Apparently this is about the environment, but it's also about other stuff as well. But it's about a librarian. Hang on, the blurb is weirdly on the inside. That always throws me. It's about a librarian who is involved in questions that come to her about climate change and people worried about the decline of Western civilization, and she is kind of forced to consider what she's doing to help within those questions. So I'm intrigued by what this book will be like because the format is different. Like, it's very paragraph heavy and split into divides through the paragraphs. So I don't know if I'm expecting this to be like a normal fiction or not. It was on the shortlist for the Books on My Bag Readers Awards, so it's definitely sounds like it's going to be really good. A couple of the reviews on the front say, a barometer of how it feels to live now. This is so good, we're not ready nor worthy. Gorgeous, funny and deadly serious. Also shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction. So this looks like it'll be really good. I think this will be one I pick up quite soon because it's very short and I just want to read more about this kind of thing because I think that's so important and is always something I've cared about, but I suppose is not anything I've really done to further my knowledge in. I just kind of sit in the knowledge that I already have, and I think sometimes we can get comfortable with that and need to push ourselves to learn more about stuff. So that's what I'm doing, and I know that fiction isn't necessarily the way to do that solely, so I will also be looking at non-fiction. But I also picked up The Overstory by Richard Powers. This is a book I saw on bookshop tables for so long when it came out, and I kept umming and ahhing about picking it up, but something that reminded me of a book that I read called The Family Tree, which is all about trees and the environment in some kind of wider scale of the story. It's really good. Sherry S. Tepper, I would highly advise it. But this one kind of gave me those vibes as well because the blurb kind of brings in different characters. It says an artist inherits 100 years of photographic portraits, all of the same doomed American chestnut tree. A hard-partying undergraduate in the late 1980s electrocutes herself, dies, and is sent back into life by creatures of air and light. A hearing and speech impaired scientist discovers that trees are communicating with one another. An Air Force loadmaster in the Vietnam War is shot out of the sky, then saved by falling into a banyan. This is the story of these and 5 other strangers, each summoned in different ways by the natural world, who are brought together in a last stand to save it from catastrophe. This sounds really interesting as well. These are both, again, different books. I'm trying to push myself to read more, so yay. But hang on, I've been reading a lot more of this afternoon, this evening. I have got this much left to go. Sophia Khan is not obliged. I said before when I mentioned this that this is credited on the blurb as a, is it credited on the blurb? Somewhere. It definitely says it somewhere within the description that it is a Muslim Bridget Jones. Now, I can see where that's coming from in the sense of this is written in the way of a diary and it's got a similar character line to Bridget Jones in the way that the woman is kind of slightly self-critical of herself and kind of has the smoking habit that Bridget Jones has and is trying to find herself a partner. And it's kind of got those similarities, but I actually think that undersells this book. Not that Bridget Jones isn't a really fun story, but there is so much more to this because this is actually a woman questioning what's happening within her path, why it's happening, what the right thing to happen is, what the right way to look at her life is. And it's so much more than that. And I think Bridget Jones does offer that, but this is coming across a lot more a feminist journey of Sophia Khan and what she's going through and how she's processing that in her brain and the pressures put on her from society, from her family, and how she's processing all of that. I'm finding it really interesting to read because I'm learning a lot about the Muslim culture and how that's affecting her life as she tries to find a potential husband. And that's the kind of purpose of the book, because she's writing a book on Muslim dating for her work. So it's really interesting. I'm really intrigued to see where it goes and hopefully who she ends up with, which I'm very invested in. So I'm going to read a little bit more of this tonight and tomorrow, and then hopefully we'll have finished it over the weekend. I haven't made any more progress on A Little Life at the moment because I have been reading physically rather than listening to an audiobook, but I think I've got about 200 to 300 pages left in that, so I definitely will finish that really soon. I think I've got like 4 hours left in the audiobook. I wanted to finish it this week so I could just kind of start afresh next week, but I don't think that's going to happen, so we'll just accept that that's going to roll into next week and I'll probably finish it early next week. But I am really liking it still. So these are the 2 books. I did finish some books when I started off this weekly vlog, so I can't remember anymore. It's been like, for some reason, that the start of the week feels very far away. But I've only got 1 week left at work and then I have a week off, my first week of the year where I've got a break since Christmas. I'm so excited. I have managed now, because I waited to have time off, I have got a week in May, a week in June, a week in July, and then a week that's like right at the end of August / going to September, hopefully a week in October, and then Christmas off again. So I've really spaced out my time off now and I'm very, 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 very excited. So I'm going to sign this off now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the vlog, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what you've been reading, what you recommend, what you think is great at the moment, let me know. And you can subscribe to see more of my face on your feed. If you would like any more content from me, if you want to get involved in voting for our next book club pick, if you want to attend live streams, if you want to see the podcast, listen to the podcast that I record for my Patreons, there is a link down below to all things Patreon. It's just an additional way. If you are able and wanting to support, then it's there. If you don't, that's absolutely fine. Please don't feel obliged. It's just there if anyone wants to. So yeah, thank you so much as always for your continued support. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Keep smiling and stay positive.